Hey everybody, and welcome to this week's edition of This Woman Can. I am your host, Women's Leadership Development Expert, Janice Sutherland, and it is my passion to help women become impactful leaders and create more wins in their life. Now, we are continuing our focus on young women in leadership. My guest this week is Rianna Patterson. TEDx speaker, curator, and host. Rianna is a multi-award-winning global TEDx speaker, change maker, and founder of Dominica Dementia Foundation. Having founded a youth-led charity at 19 after passing her grandfather in 2013, she was awarded the Queen's Young Leader Award in June 2017. And yeah, she's an all-round, well-accomplished young lady. So Rianna, welcome to This Woman Can.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. It's really nice to be here.
Fantastic. Thank you so much for joining us. So I wonder if you could tell us before we kick off, Rianna, a little bit about your journey and how you got to where you are today.
Yeah, definitely. So as you said, it all started when my grandfather passed away with dementia, because I was kind of like exploring. I was in that exploring stage, looking at different careers and so on, and what degrees would fit the career that I'm kind of moving towards.
Yes.
So when he passed away, I took an interest in psychology. So I went to go on to study psychology in college, and then I took a year out just to focus on establishing and running this organization. And then after that, I went on to study psychology at university.
Okay.
And then I've landed a marketing career now. So yeah, it's been like up and down, but yeah, it's been quite thrilling and, very rewarding experience and journey so far.
Okay, so tell us a bit about the foundation, the Dementia Foundation.
Yeah, so we're a youth-led dementia charity. So we raise awareness of dementia, we support families and caretakers, and we also facilitate research towards dementia. And during COVID, we've seen a lot of people come to us. So
Right.
We've actually established a virtual dementia support group. So every Sunday we get families in the UK and in Dominica just coming to speak about the experience. We've also got a psychologist on board just in case, things get a bit, intense and emotional. So there's the psychology support there. And then we also have the Dementia Friends program. So I was trained by Alzheimer's Society UK to become a Dementia Friend champion. And I also was the project coordinator for the Dominica Dementia Friends program,
Right.
which is within the Dementia Foundation. So basically, we kind of provide dementia trainings to different sectors. So it can be
Right.
for one-to-ones, groups, corporates. We've done a lot of dementia trainings for care homes in Dominica and things like that. So
Okay.
yeah, we do quite a bit advocacy and support with families in care homes as well.
So you're in the UK currently.
Yeah.
Yeah. So how do you make that link with Dominica?
There's different Dominican communities here in the UK. Even though we're quite small, we do have little communities where we can engage and make that pathway between the UK and Dominica as well. Right. I actually started off a Dominican community for young people called Dominica Youth UK with my friend. Okay. So in that little community, we've got like different people with different skill sets, different interests, that also find an interest in the foundation as well. Yeah. So we use that as a pathway. We got relationships with DASA, we made relationships with DUCA and things like that. So that is how we kind of have that linkage together. Right. And, I also created relationships in the Dominica High Commission as well. We've done work together and things like that. So yeah.
Fabulous. So a young lady with a lot on her plate. So what would you describe, Rianna, as one of your biggest challenges? And when you're faced with those, or when you're faced with it, how do you overcome it?
I think my biggest challenge, I think right now, personally, is developing my personal brand. I wouldn't say it's a challenge, but it's just, I'm in the early stages of doing that. So I'm just learning, connecting and things like that. Okay. I think what for the organization, it would probably be funding.
Right.
There's always been a challenge when it comes to funding, getting the right funding for different projects and things that we want to do. So we have a lot of great ideas, but without funding, you can never really see those through. So funding has been a challenge for us.
Right. And on a personal level in your career, when you're faced with a challenge, when you're faced with it, is there been one big challenge personally you faced and how you overcame that and the lesson you learned from it?
I think personally, whilst at university, my grandmother passed away.
Right.
And it was a lot because that was on the first day of exams. So I went down to Dominica to support my mom, and I didn't really have time to grieve. And then I came back in August. So she passed away in May, came back in August, did the exams and things like that. But it was a lot of, I don't really want to do this anymore. I'm tired and things like that. So it wasn't really doubt, but it was just in a phase of fatigue and tiredness, of feeling overwhelmed and those kind of things. But I just had to keep through and just recognize that this is just something that will pass. It's just something I have to go through. Unfortunately, we all have to experience death at some point. And it's something that we don't really talk about. But when it happens, it is a lot to deal with.
Right.
So it was just kind of keeping close to my faith, in those difficult periods, and just remembering that this too will pass and there's something great on the other side of this. But it was a lot of courage, building myself up and just giving myself motivational talks and engaging with my friends and family to make sure to stay sane and get through this time.
It's just having that strong support network, and then, as you said, knowing that this is a temporary thing, and looking for the resources that you need to help you overcome.
Yeah, exactly.
Thank you. So Rianna, so far you've been pretty successful in what you've done, and you seem to have a lot on the plate, like I said. But how has failure made a positive difference in your life? Everybody always focuses on success, but failure, we all experience it. So how have you turned that into a positive or made it a success in your life?
I think there's a lot that we can learn from failure than success. So you're completely right when it comes to that. I think I've failed many times in my life with the career choices and things like that. So let me see if I can think of an example. Okay, so right now I'm currently crowdfunding to produce a documentary film on dementia, but it's really test and scale. So right now it's just, I think, shy over £2,000, but the goal is not really as close to the goal. But I wouldn't see it as failure. I would just see it as, what it is. I don't think it's failure, but there is much more I could have done. And I just take it as a learning curve. Like with every day, I just take it as a learning curve. What can I do now? Just kind of reviewing and reflecting the approach that I take, because whatever results we get is because of our output and input as well. And then sometimes it's not us, sometimes it's just different external factors. So not taking it personal and just learning from it overall.
Yeah, and it can be difficult not to take it personally, because especially, I suppose, where the subject that's so near and dear to you, that I could figure that could be quite tough, and think, why doesn't anybody else want to support what I'm doing? So thank you for sharing that. So Rianna, and I'm going to say in your short life, because it's not as long as mine, if you had to start over from scratch, knowing what you know now, what would you do differently?
I'd start building my community as soon as possible. That is something I definitely should have done since the jump, since I started the foundation, start working on my personal brand, start working on community for the foundation, and try to also separate myself as a personal brand as well, because you can build yourself up for years, and then that's what you'll be known as. So every time someone sees you, hears content about you, they'll think, okay, this is because of this and not because of something else. So I kind of think you should build yourself as a multifaceted person, and don't just categorize yourself as one thing, because you won't always work on one project forever. You will always have different interests, different ideas, different initiatives that you want to produce. And then if you don't have a community, then when you always have all these great projects, there's no one to support you, there's no one to push your work, there's no one to vouch for you, and things like that. And I think having your own community also helps you to grow, and you can share and people can build, and it can be a very well-rounded, fruitful community. So I think, yeah, building your community, once you already started at least one initiative, I think it's time to build your community and personal brand when you have different titles and projects going on. So yeah.
And that's very poignant what you're saying, because I recently did a whole workshop around multi-generational leadership, leading teams of different ages. And what you find was that maybe somebody from my era, from my age, baby boomer, the focus quite often was one career, or traditionalists was one career for life and one job. Now with the younger generation, millennials, Gen Zers, it's more about portfolio careers, because you have one line of career you want to pursue, but you may have multifacets or different organizations. You're not loyal to an organization, you're loyal to your career, and there's a huge difference there. So as you said, having that individual brand, I think many people realize that you are a brand. It's not just an organization. You are a brand, and what you put out on social media, how you present yourself, what you say, it's all there in prosperity. It's all there for people to look at you and as you say, make a judgment as to who you are. Yeah,
absolutely. If people don't know who you are, then they don't know how you can support them or what services you can provide. So if you do public speaking, but you're always known as the founder, the CEO of something else, then people won't really think of you firsthand when they're looking for someone to speak at their event or workshop and things like that. So yeah, if you're definitely looking to pursue that as a career, you might want to kind of figure out how you want to present yourself and what 3 keywords you can use to describe yourself overall with everything that you do.
Excellent. So Rianna, how do you navigate confidence issues?
So that's quite interesting, because I grew up shy, and I would say that I'm still not an extrovert. I'm in the middle. Even when it comes to public speaking and workshops and things like that, I still get jitters. Like with my TEDx talk, I didn't want to do it. I wanted to do it, and then I got to the event and I was just like, all right, I'm ready to go home now. I 100% don't want to be here. So I think you need to realize your potential. Okay, you need to understand that you're here for a reason. You are at this point because of what you've done. So even if you feel like you're not confident and you're not a confident person, you just have to look at your progress. And I think even in the workshop that I did this week on personal development at a university in the UK, I think it's very important that we document things, so we have a clear vision and a clear idea of our progress and our journey of where we are and where we want to go. So yeah, I think it's just understanding your potential and your ambitions, who you are as a person, and then that can also take away the disbelief.
Yes, yeah. And I work with a lot of women who have challenges with confidence at times. And I like what you said there, because one of the things I do for my own thing, I have what I call a hooray file. So it's on my laptop, and it's just anything good happens, I throw it in that folder.
Oh.
So when I'm having those little wobbles, a little self-doubt, I go back and said, yeah, you did that. Yeah, that's what you did. Come on, stop it, because you've already done this. So I have that little folder and I keep it there and just drop stuff in for me to visit. It could be anything, podcasts, articles, web links, but just something that remind me that, you've come this far, like you said. So Rianna, share with us, or share with the listeners, what advice would you share with any young women embarking on their leadership journey?
I think I would say seek a mentor immediately, because it's something that I've been mentored by various people for different things. Like I've got a film mentor, I've got someone helping me for my personal brand. Sometimes you just might need someone to just have a look at, have a social media audit, just see where you could maybe develop your engagement, your content and things like that. So yeah, definitely seek a mentor for what you do. They'll always have someone that knows more than you. And I think it will save you a lot of time and a lot of money trying to figure what you're doing on your own, when there's actually someone has gone through the journey and they're ready, willing to help you. So yeah, mentorship is very important. Having that wholesome community and mentors that can support you for different things is very valuable.
Now, I know a lot of people sometimes can struggle with actually, getting hold, knowing how to approach a mentor. And you spoke about being a introvert, extrovert in the middle of it. So when you set out your mentors, what maybe a couple of tips you would give and other young women hoping to get a mentor to approach somebody to be a mentor for them?
I think it's definitely knowing what you want to get out of the mentorship for sure, so that you don't waste each other's time. I would say look for a mentor based on your needs, based on the services that you're trying to develop, or if it's personally, look at your personal needs and what you need in that time. I think, it kind of just depends, a case by case basis, really. When it comes to seeking mentorship, for me, I don't know, it just happens for me. Apparently, like I was involved with the Princess Trust, and they kind of mentioned they got some mentors and so on for films, and I was just like, okay, well, I do film as well, and then they matched me with the mentor that they had for the film projects and things like that. But when it goes to outsourcing, I would just say, just kind of draft a letter saying who you are, what you do, and then what you're looking for. Right. And then that way you could maybe have a follow-up call or something to kind of gauge if this is the right match for you. Because you shouldn't just go for any mentor. You should go for something, specific. They can help you. They can take you on that journey.
Right. Thank you for that. So, and you come across as very goal orientated, because you've locked down. You know what you need to do. You know what you need to do. But what do you think holds some women back from going for their goals?
I think the what ifs, definitely, because they definitely hold me back. So what if this doesn't work? So what if, the what ifs really hold you back? I think something else would just be, the disbelief, like, am I capable of this? Yeah. Is this something that I really want to do? Can I see myself doing this long term? Is this something that will last, and things like that? So it's really the doubts and the what ifs that can really hold someone back. And then maybe not having the experience would also form into a doubt. Oh, I don't have experience for this. I don't have a degree. I don't have a community, and things like that. But you have to start somewhere. Yeah. So once you start, then you start getting those things on the go whilst you're learning, or you wait until you feel that you're ready. Yeah. But that can be at any time as well. So just definitely have a timeline of, you're going to do this by this time. You're going to get the resources, you've got the people, you're going to contact them at this time, this deadline. So it's having a very clear structure as to where you're going, what's your next steps.
Right. And when a what if comes around and slaps you in your face, Rianna, what do you do?
So when I say what if, I just feel like, but what if it actually works? And then these are the results. And I feel like, if you don't do it, then you will never know. So if you say, oh, okay, I'm not doing this because what if this happens? Yeah. Then that's lost opportunity. You might as well try, because it could fail, it could succeed. If it fails, you will learn from it. If it succeeds, you continue forward. You know what I mean? Yeah. So there's definitely always an opportunity to learn. So I would say just go for it, no matter what the results is.
Absolutely. Because it's amazing, because we have a 50-50 chance of it going wrong or going right, but we always focus on the wrong. That's our go-to. But like you say, what ifs. I'm the case. I don't want to shoulda, woulda, coulda. That's me. I don't want to have that. So that's what pushes me, because I'm not gonna. I don't want to. I should have done that. I could have done that. Would have done. No, that's not in my remit. So like you said, just get on with it. And you never know what's going to be this other side, and it could be positive, as I'm concerned.
Exactly. And even saying try, because my friend was just like, I hate that word try. I was just like, what are you talking about? They're like, yeah, Rianna, if you say try, it means that you're not going to do it. So you have to say, I am going to, you have to put the intention in. If you say try, it's kind of like 50-50 as well.
Yeah. And that leads us quite nicely on to share with us a success quote or a mantra that you use and why it's meaningful for you, Rianna.
So I think for me as a Christian, the Bible verse Proverbs 3:6, which would say Lord, the God will guide your paths. So that kind of means that God will just guide your paths. He will direct your paths. So whatever you do, he will be there guiding you through. And I think that's a very powerful Bible verse. And there was one that I discovered recently, Proverbs 16:18, which would say your gifts will make room for you. And I thought that was very powerful as well. Yeah. So it just basically says that, no matter what, if you're working towards something, your gifts will make room for you. Yeah. And I thought that was very powerful.
Yeah. Thank you. So a tough question here, really, really tough question. What advice would you give to your teenage self?
I would say, believe in yourself. Simple as that. Because I was shy. I didn't want to, be in the forefront of anything. I would rather do the work, but not be the head and the front of it. So just believe in yourself. You can be anyone. You can do anything that you want to once you're very hardworking and determined to get things done. Your gifts will make room for you. So
Excellent. So Rianna, describe to me, should I say, what are the 3 things you've learned about yourself during your career so far?
I think I'm a very passionate and driven person. I would like to consider that. And that's not something I would have considered in my, when I was 13, 12 or something like that. It's just something, I was very shy, very timid. I have the ability to be driven and motivated, and I'm capable of a lot of things. I would also say I've also discovered different interests about me. So I'm not just interested in mental health, but I also have an interest in sustainability. So that's been quite interesting to explore and things like that. I would also say I'm a good communicator and connector now, because I have a lot of people in my network from different backgrounds, different interests. So I always look out for people that, if someone's quite interesting and, I have someone in my network that would probably be benefit from the connection, then I'll connect them as well.
Thank you. Now, something you said there about you being very shy and timid, and I've heard that from a number of young women I've worked with over the past 12 months. So how did you navigate that? How did you, or if at all, how have you overcome or navigate your shyness?
I think it's just about finding my voice. So to find your voice, you have to use your voice. So that's what I've been doing: public speaking, speaking on social media, live videos, and, just getting myself out there, getting myself outside of my comfort zone has been really influential. I also did Toastmasters, so that really helped with my public speaking, because, we say, that, but, and all these fillers. And it kind of, so there you go. I said, so it kind of reduces the credibility of the speech sometimes, or you just kind of get lost in it. So I try not to say that. But, if it does happen, I don't knock myself down because of it, because I am human. So we will mess up in speeches and things like that, but that doesn't take out the credibility and value of what we're saying. Right. So, yeah.
Excellent. Thank you for that. So my last couple of questions get you out of the hot seat. Where would we typically find you on a Saturday morning at 10 a.m.?
10 a.m. These days, I'm usually trying to just do, very minor duties, trying to work on my personal brand and things like that. So I would actually be on my computer, but I try to stop before 12 o'clock. Right. So if it's a weekend, I would try and stop work before 12. Yeah, before 12. And then I have the rest of the day to do whatever.
Yeah, fabulous. And lastly, what does success feel like to you?
I think success, wow. Success is Doing what you love, your passions. I think that's what it means for me.
Excellent. Excellent. Thank you so much for that. So that was my last official question. But if anybody would like to connect, you know more about what you do, how can they do that?
I think they can find me on LinkedIn, Instagram, Twitter. Yeah, just reach out, just say, hi, I'd like to connect with you, and we can take it from there.
Okay, what are your handles?
For Instagram, it's Rianna Patterson _. For Twitter, it's Rianna Patterson. And LinkedIn is Rianna Patterson MBPS.
Fabulous. I'll be sure to put those in the show notes. If anyone wants to connect with you, they can do so. And if they'd like to find anything more about the foundation, how can they do that? The website?
Yeah, we've got a website. So it's Dominica Dementia Foundation.org.
Fantastic. So that was my last question officially, Rianna. Thank you so much for your time today.
Yeah, it's been a pleasure. Thank you for having me.
You're welcome.